Welcome to Generational Differences with Beckham and Brett.
I heard the vaccines, they were using vaccines to put 5G in our bodies so that we all would broadcast 5G.
I'm laughing on the inside, but no.
Aren't you? But you don't think we all broadcast 5G? That's what they put in the COVID vaccines, you know.
Huh?
We're back for episode 7, and today we're going to talk about the ocean and the shoreline and all that good stuff.
Just Florida in general.
We're going to talk about Florida in general and our trip to Florida a couple years back. So we'll start off. We stopped at that place and got some French toast. What did you think of the French toast that we got there?
You know, it was pretty good. It had like whipped cream, just a bunch, and also sprinkles. And I think it had M&Ms too.
Yeah, it was probably the least healthy French toast I'd ever seen. So anyways, yeah, we went out to the Keys. We went out there because you wanted to see the mangroves, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So mangroves, you tell me a little bit about mangroves. Do you still have all your mangrove information?
Yeah. Mangroves are the most biodiverse trees in the entire planet. One tree can produce up to 4 times the amount of an entire rainforest. So basically, imagine an entire forest filled with them. They're also pretty biodiverse because they live in the ocean, which makes good inhabitants for jellyfish and sea crabs and just everything, including sharks. And
fish and sea stars and...
Yep.
What else did we see? We saw a bunch of seagrass there.
Yeah.
So one mangrove has what were you saying?
4 times the amount of oxygen produced in 1 year than a rainforest.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then, do you remember?
And to think Hawaii's burning them down.
What? Who's burning them down?
Hawaii. They're an invasive species.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, they're like making their ground all silty, so kind of don't want those around.
I thought that that's what I was going to ask, because mangroves have that one yellow leaf. Do you remember what?
1 yellow leaf per branch to suck in all the salt.
And that's how they survive.
I just remembered of how the trip came to be. I asked you, hey Dad, I want to go to Florida. And you said, okay, I'll take you to Disney World. And I'm like, no, I want to go to the mangroves. I want mangroves and see all the trees and stuff. And yeah.
That's right. I thought I was going to have to fork over a bunch of money to go to Disneyland. I was like, okay, yeah, we'll do Disney or Disney World, and we can do Sea World and all that stuff. And you were like, no, I want to go to the shoreline. I was like, oh yeah, we'll go to the Keys. I'd much rather go to spring break and go to the Florida Keys than go to Disney World. So off we went. Yeah. So what was your favorite part of that trip?
We found a hermit crab that found a king conch shell and grew into it.
Yeah, the queen conch. Yeah.
The hermit crab that
was a
giant hermit crab.
Pick the crab out of Moana.
Yeah, I think his name was Sebastian. It was a reference from The Little Mermaid.
Yeah. And then we saw, when we did the mangrove tour, we saw a bunch of stuff, and we saw those jellyfish.
Yeah, those jellyfish that turn themselves upside down so they blend in with the ground.
Mm-hmm. What do you have some interesting facts on jellyfish? You did a whole report on jellyfish after that or something, if I remember right.
I did. I made an entire report on box jellyfish. By the way, there are some box jellyfish in Florida, but but not as deadly as the ones in Australia.
I didn't
But
know that.
basically, jellyfish are some jellyfish, and not they don't like live in Florida, but they're called immortal jellyfish because whenever they come to a disease or get too old, they'll become like a tree and make a new one, like a multiple of itself, and they'll do that again and again and again. But if they get eaten, it gets cut and it can't grow again at all.
My gosh, they can live on forever. Didn't know how
Yeah.
old the oldest jellyfish is.
Well, I mean, there's so many jellyfish, and we can't biologically make out its age. So basically, some jellyfish might have lived from the first times they were created, which was longer than the dinosaurs, people. Longer than when the dinosaurs were created. They were one of the first organisms to be created, like multi-celled organisms and stuff.
Older than your grandparents.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
You think your grandparents are older than the dinosaurs?
Maybe. That's a
Uh, yeah, I know it's a joke. I know it's a joke. So box jellyfish, and what do you know? Like, what are some other fun facts about box jellyfish?
They can kill a person in 5 minutes. That's just flat.
Unless you pee on the wound, right? That's
You don't know the salt or the acidity of your, stuff. So if it changes, if the salt or like the water changes in it, it'll set it off again. It'll sting you again. So no, don't pee on it. Put vinegar on it, put it in seawater, do anything else but pee on it. You don't know how salty your pee is. And that's what basically is what the monitoring is for the harpoons and the jellyfish.
okay. What about how do you protect against them? Do nylons work? Like nylon leggings? I heard that too. That surfers over.
Yeah, if you cover yourself in something that they can't sting you through, yeah, you're gonna be okay, like nylon or something.
Anything else that works?
I heard if you put on like really bulky regular clothing where the jellyfish can't hit you,
So like
it can't
chainmail.
sting you. Basically, but if the chainmail was so small that tiny microscopic harpoons can't go through it,
So next time I take you to the ocean, go swimming, I'm gonna put you in chainmail.
please don't.
I'll put you in chainmail and throw you off the boat.
No. I'd die from the undertow before any jellyfish could reach me.
What about?
Have you ever heard of phantom jellyfish?
I have not heard of phantom
They're
jellyfish.
these giant jellyfishes that glow, and they like have these like weird looking ribbon like things. They're very rare because they kind of live hundreds of meters below the water surface, so it's very rare to see it.
Did they have those at Monterey Bay?
No, they did not. But they had moon jellies and
No.
some other jellyfish. There was even one that kind of was red and it looked like a bloody tooth, so I named it Bloodtooth.
Mm.
It didn't actually have a name yet. That was cool. It was an unidentified species that didn't have a name yet.
And you guys got to name it?
No, we didn't get to name it. That was our nickname.
Oh. Okay.
It was never going to be named that.
Why not?
I don't know. Maybe because we didn't register?
We didn't register to have it
Yeah.
named as such. So what else? What else about? So you like the jellyfish. You like the mangroves. What else were you? And you saw a couple of sharks, right? And we saw mangroves.
Yeah. I just remembered something when I was swimming out, like in the sea, like snorkeling and stuff. I dove underwater and I was pretty far from the shore. And I saw this like gray fin or tail go right in front of me, look barely out of my vision. And I immediately thought, shark. Dun, 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 dun. So I calmly, because if they see bubbles, they think it's food and will kill you. So if they see bubbles, so you don't want to panic, you just want to very gently swim to shore and then get off and then run.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we were there for 3 or 4 days. Well, no, we were there for 5 days maybe.
Yeah, the fish there were nice. They look cool.
And we thought we saw like baby barracuda, right?
Yeah, we did. They couldn't eat our flesh yet.
I don't know if they would want to.
They would. They're carnivorous fish. And they're
Yeah,
big fish too. And they're very mean. They
yeah.
can actually eat people.
Like piranhas. You gonna go fishing for them next time you're down there?
No.
Why not? I thought you wanted
Barracudas
to.
are
I
big.
thought you wanted to go
snap my
do.
back.
I thought you wanted to go do trophy fishing. That's one of the trophy fish they go after.
No. I don't want a barracuda. It'd snap my back and pull me into the water.
I think they have something to hold the poles to keep you from getting pulled in.
It doesn't matter. It'd still probably break something. My legs, my arm, my whatever. My femur, which is actually the hardest bone in your body. Break it.
Yeah. So any other memories from Florida that you wanted to revisit? Or anything else you want to talk about with jellyfish or?
No, not really.
No, you're just kind of done. You're done today.
I wiped out
You wiped out.
with the jellyfish in Florida subject.
I don't think you did. All right, and with that, I guess we'll take a break and we'll be back after a few minutes and we'll do our next session. And we're back for the second half of our show. This half we're going to talk about measles, right? An infectious
Basically,
disease.
just contagious
So-
stuff.
So contagious, all contagious things. Well, measles have been in the news. I don't know if you know that. There's a big outbreak right now because people haven't been getting vaccinated. So, but did you know that RFK Jr., he's an anti-vaxxer and he got elected or he got confirmed as Secretary of Health and Human Services. So that means he oversees the NIH, he oversees the CDC and all. Hey, he doesn't believe in vaccinations. What do you think about that?
Gosh, did he take AP Bio?
Probably not.
Just my first question. Did he take AP Bio? Yeah, that's what I thought. But if he thinks that vaccines don't work, he needs a TED Talk
Does he?
to basically all of everything about bacteria, vaccines, of how they work. Because vaccines are just dead cells of the organism that don't harm you, but then your cells train to see what it does. Oh, do we need to blow it out with a sneeze? Oh, wait, we can't blow it out with a sneeze. Okay, well, can we send our killer cells to destroy it? Oh, it looks like the killer cells can't destroy it. Can we just annihilate it through the urinary system? Oh, we can. That's great. That's basically what it is. It trains your your thing and your helper T cells of what it does to destroy the bacteria, virus, fungus, anything basically.
Do you know how vaccines? Do you have a basic understanding of how vaccines work? How do vaccines work?
I just told you how vaccines work.
Huh?
Nothing. I just said I think that was how vaccines work, or what I said. It basically is a train on your immune system.
They train your immune system.
to
Do you
do
know?
what they do to
Do you know how
destroy
how
it.
do they make a vaccine? Can you do a basic
Yeah, they basically kill the cells, wait till they die, and then
you mean the virus or
the
the
virus, bacteria / anything,
Okay.
and then they let it die, and then they'll send the corpse into your bloodstream, and and the your body will study it and basically see of what to do to kill it. And when they find out, they'll use that tactic when the real bacteria / virus / fungus / anything comes into your body.
So did
What?
you now that you kind of know the history of the measles vaccine, right?
Yeah, the first one was for chickenpox, actually, which is one of the most contagious diseases out there.
For
And it
chicken,
was
you
by
mean that it wasn't the first vaccine wasn't for chickenpox.
or
We were talking about measles. I think you were talking
oh,
measles, right?
yeah, but the first vaccine for measles
Okay.
was that basically they basically grind up the scabs, find a find something, and then basically the dust, they blow it up your nose, and then basically that's how they did it. And then since they were dead and already grinded up and stuff, your body could fight it and see how it, can die.
I heard the vaccines, they were using vaccines to put 5G in our bodies so that we all would broadcast 5G.
I'm laughing on the inside, but no.
Aren't you? But you don't think we all broadcast 5G? That's what they put in the COVID vaccines,
Huh? Actually confused. They don't put that in the COVID vaccine. They just dupe us into buying more COVID. But there is a
What do you mean
spread
they
going
dupe us into buying more COVID?
vaccines.
Oh, there's still people that need the COVID vaccine, people that are
Yeah, like old people and, like immune suppressant people.
yes, they still need the vaccine.
But no, not much.
But you don't think maybe they're just still trying to get everyone to put 5G in their system so that everyone can have 5G. I'm pretty sure my vaccines did not have 5G in them because the 5G on my T-Mobile phone is like at 1 or 2 bars all the time. So I'm not broadcasting 5G. I don't think you're broadcasting 5G either.
Okay. I was was boiling to my face when you but no, Dad, we're not broadcasting 5G. We're not broadcasting 5G. I know
Okay.
it's but
You don't think we are? Well, I don't think we are. There was a real it was a real conspiracy theory during the COVID epidemic that like the vaccines had 5G in them or something, and they were making us
those were the Trump supporters right off the bat because Trump said that the vaccine that COVID wasn't real.
yeah.
So they just thought they were 5G nanobots or whatever the heck they are.
So, anyways, I got you way off track there. So we had the so the first measles vaccine they ground up like
the scabs and stuff
from it, and then they put it up people's nose.
Basically.
And then what it stopped being as effective? Was that what you were saying?
Yeah, like it grew to be less effective. So the scabs, they were so they made it so that the scabs were just like irritating for the person. They didn't actually use it. It was just something to suppress their immune system. So, or like lure it over, which then after that it didn't work because they were just literally they were death traps. Not just death traps. The scabs and stuff, because now the viruses and the measles wasn't in there. It was
it evolved to not have the virus in the scab.
Yeah, those were basically before, those were supposed to be the entire place of where it was like the concentrated spots. So when, say, the scab goes off, then they don't have nutrients and they die.
So when that stopped moving, when that stopped working, what did they end up having to do?
Well, for a long time, people were just dying because the measles, they couldn't be like helped or anything. Well, they could if you lived from measles, but that was a low chance. But as technology evolved, scientists or could actually like could make vaccines that actually helped with the measles because they were now bloodborne. So they would literally take blood, make it into a vaccine, and then inject it into people again to help.
That's what they did. What they got it to work that way. Very cool. You remember when you were really little, you were like terrified of mosquitoes?
Yeah, it was from malaria.
We were camping that one time, and you got a mosquito on it, and there was like another dad walking by, and you were freaking out about the mosquito, and I was like, why are you freaking out about mosquitoes? And you were like,
Malaria.
yeah. You were like, I'm gonna get malaria, and the guy was like, how old is he? And I was like, 4 years old. And then he's like, why does he know about malaria? I'm like, and then I was like, oh, his mom worked in infectious disease a lot. Yeah, he was kind of weirded out by that a 4-year-old was freaking out about malaria. But yeah, there's a lot of people that aren't vaccinating their kids.
I heard that there's going to be a third wave of COVID because somebody wanted bat soup in Brazil.
Oh, really?
Yeah, somebody
was that
wanted bat soup.
in Brazil? Well, it's not that they wanted bat soup. So that's a good point. Normally I think they think that bats are a common vector in Africa for Ebola. But
Yeah?
but not like people in general, they just think it's bushmeat. And so do you know what bushmeat is? Bushmeat is anything that you can kill when you're out in the forest or out in the jungle. And so they think that it's bats, but they're not entirely sure like what carries Ebola. But to your point, it's not that somebody wants bat soup.
I meant COVID, like a third wave of.
No, I know, but you were saying that somebody wanted bat soup. A lot of those folks just live where they do subsistence hunting, and so they just hunt whatever is out there. So it's not like somebody's like, oh, I want to go eat a bat today. That's generally the only meat that they could find. So, yeah, that's why, and we know that like the flu, like especially like bird flu, like that's actually part of the reason why eggs are so high right now. I mean, part of it's the economy, and then there's supply chain issues, but part of the reason we've got a low stock of eggs is because of the bird flu right now. And birds are a common vector for, again, like the bird flu. Yeah. I don't know if bats are where COVID. I thought maybe it was pigs that COVID came from, but I don't remember.
China bats. Somebody ate it
bats?
in a kebab, and then he kind of, got
I thought it was made in a lab.
Your conspiracies are making me mad.
It was constructed in a lab, Beckham.
Okay, that part it could be true because Russia might be making a bioweapon.
Well,
but that'd be confidential.
That's a whole nother topic for a whole nother
That's
day.
A war crime.
It's not even that they might be making bioweapons. It's a known thing that a lot of nation states do weaponize viruses, including us. We've done research on weaponizing viruses.
State? You mean countries?
Nation states. Do you know what a nation state is?
No.
Nation state is a country. So Russia would be a nation state. China would be a nation state. We are a nation state.
Alaska. Wait,
Alaska
no.
would not be a nation state because it's part of the United
Canada.
States. It's not part of Canada. You are like, what?
No, I'm saying Canada's a
I start
nation
talking
state.
about conspiracy theories and you forget all your geography. You're like, Alaska's been annexed by Canada and maybe Russia.
You got
No, come on. You know that Alaska's part of the United States.
No, I got my thing mixed up when I just said Canada out of the blue. I was saying that Canada is a nation state.
Sort of, yes. They're technically Great Britain, I think. Mm-hmm.
No, I think I just angered some of our viewers if they're in Britain.
No, I don't think so. You're 10 years old. Although I am disappointed that you thought that Alaska was part of Canada. I don't even know what's going on.
My brain shut down.
I don't know. That one was that was out there. So you know how any of the we're like way off topic. So yeah. So back to that, there are like Russia has weaponized certain viruses. The United States has probably weaponized certain viruses. So and we know that and the United States and Russia both still keep smallpox has been eradicated, but they still have the virus frozen. Like the United States and Russia still have those frozen just in case, right? Just in case they somehow get weaponized. So yeah, but anything else that you know about? Anything else you want to talk about with viruses? No.
No.
You're done.
Just go to Atlanta. Go to Atlanta.
You want to go
They
to
have
Atlanta?
a lot
Well, yeah, that's where they're. Why are we going to Atlanta?
because they have a lot of virus facilities. Actually, just pathogen facilities.
They have what?
Pathogen facilities.
You know what is based out of Atlanta?
Oh, CVC?
Yeah, the CDC. Yeah,
CDC.
so some of the that's a good point. So both CDC and then they have a lot of dangerous pathogens at the CDC in Atlanta, and then
Where's it at?
they also have a bunch of them oddly enough, in Hamilton, Montana, which is just outside of, it's an NIH facility, and it's just outside of Missoula, Montana.
That is actually, that's just random. Why Montana? A lot of people live there, so.
What were you going to say?
Not a lot of people live there, so the chance of it breaking out and then becoming a worldwide, yeah.
Yeah, it's
pretty low.
Hamilton and Missoula are fairly isolated. That is a good point. Like the Missoula airport's pretty small. Also, it's like the only way, there's one interstate there that goes, I think, I-90 that's kind of just there, and everything else, like in Hamilton, is actually off of I-90 quite a ways. You have to go south quite a ways to get down there. So it is an ideal location, like if you needed to, like if you were to have a airborne outbreak of a deadly virus, it would be easy to contain. Whereas in Atlanta, if you take it back to research it there at Atlanta, safety protocols around that, and if for whatever reason it got out, like you're here in a large metropolitan area. So yeah, you're right. It's a good place for it because it is so rural.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's even, they took Missoula, which is only a city of like, I think 60,000, and they went down to Hamilton, which is a city of like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 folks. So that's full of a bunch of PhD scientists, oddly enough. And guess what? That's where the ranch, a little bit of trivia here. That's where the ranch from Yellowstone, the TV show Yellowstone.
Yeah.
Is right down there by Hamilton, Montana too. There's all sorts of stuff. So you can go look for deadly viruses and then TV cowboys while you're down there. All right. And with that, I think that's going to be the end of our episode tonight. So, thanks everyone for listening again this week. And then Beckham, you take us out with the credits.
Okay. Today's show was produced by Beckham and Brett. You can find us on YouTube and Spotify. Please subscribe to the show anywhere you listen to podcasts. Reach out with any questions, comments, or potential topics. We will respond. Have a great week.